in the bottom left in the red. He is for Team NV and Abydos. Cure. And his opponent in the upper right in the blue. He's the barcode, but you may know him. He's herO. So we don't know a lot about how herO has been playing in this tournament. We caught one game of the semifinals where herO went and he took both took both gold base as his second and third and went Phoenix Charge and killed Nikaract, but also it's Nikaract. So while Nikaract is a fantastic player and he's a solid tier 2, tier 3 European, he's not anywhere near the level of herO. And then on the flip side, we saw Cure. Cure beat Trigger 2-0. Realistically, I think that he should have lost game 1. He lost his third base. It was not good, but then Trigger overextended massively. He attacked up a ramp. It wasn't good. And Trigger lost his advantage, and then Cure just steamrolled him in game number 2. So from what little we can gather, it seems like Cure is in pretty solid form in this matchup. herO as well, I guess. But again, we haven't seen much out of herO. He was the number 1 seed in the bracket, and he had very few challengers. So I'm excited for this. As we get into the grand finals, effectively, neither player has been truly tested. Cure was tested in one game. We'll give him that. But no one's been tested tonight. Or this morning, as it is about, 10:35 in the morning, Korean time. And so for game 1, it seems like Cure is going to be going for a 3 racks, which is interesting because this is altitude. This is I want to say it's a 38-second rush distance map. It is a it is a massive map. It is a long map. And that generally means that you don't want to go for heavily aggressive play. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Your opponent is not going to, it takes too long to get across the map. But yeah, 38 seconds. Natural to natural from SCVs. But it's one of those things where if you are doing something that is unexpected, then if it's unexpected, then your opponent does not expect it, and then maybe you can find some value anyways. But herO is doing something very interesting of his own. He's been playing around with this a little bit as he tries to force the Marines back with the shade to kill the SCV on the front lines, but it will not happen. Well done there, Cure. Did not get baited in. But anyways, herO's opening pretty quick robo here. I was gonna say this is a robo-less, or this is blinkless robo, but no, he does have blink halfway done, and maybe I'm just wrong, but he is gonna have a pretty quick robo in this game off of a single gateway. Second gateway on the way now, and that's not gonna find its way in. Looks to maybe shade in the mineral line, but again, there are Marines there, so that's not gonna happen. And now, because herO was pretty greedy on single gateway for quite a while, as this adept will now surely fall. Well done, Cure. It's 4-gate blink coming on in from the Smiling Assassin in this game number 1. 4-gate blink, but no War Prism just yet. Interesting. He's gonna get a pretty quick observer. I mean, fine. What we're paying attention to, of course, is there we go. That's the War Prism on the way. And this is an awkward situation now for Cure. Yeah, he's got this bio. He's got Stim done soon enough. But I feel like the Observer, actually more importantly, is going to find this army moving across the map before everything is ready. And then herO is going to have double blink. He's going to have a Warp Prism, and he's going to have the fact that his Stalkers have blink here. So this is all, I'm not going to say it's a build order win, but it is such a massive advantage for herO in this game, so long as he does not absolutely blunder it, which, I mean, he's herO. He has been, as much as I love him and as good as he has been known to absolutely overextend himself sometimes, but not this one. As the Stalkers blink backwards, one stim has already been forced, and herO can take his third base off this. He can do whatever he wants. His opponent is already not in the best spot. But herO's not tracking the army quite as well as he would like, so maybe you don't get the third base just yet. But you do run across the map with the War Prism and the Stalkers. And herO knows where this army is. I mean, yes, he lost the Observer now, but he had full vision of the main base of Cure for quite a while. Stalker on the high ground. This is going to be a dead bunker here. Even as you can stim inside of it, the bunker goes down. Marines will continue to fall. SCVs have to get pulled. And now Kira looks to dive in, but there are stalkers here defensively. No warp, no shield battery. That's potentially the biggest problem, is this probe will stay alive, actually. Okay. And stalkers actually have to get recalled. So herO doesn't get that much done. This pressure from Cure, keeping the army on the left side of the map, not really committing to it, but just keeping the fear of God in herO's eyes, is making this 4-gate pressure build coming in from herO not all that effective. But now here's going to find the army, and that is a significant component of Cure's army supply lead right here, and herO should knock it down. Really, we expect him to take very minimal casualties. Not a single stalker is going to go down, actually. Nice body block with the stalkers on the right, and now it's an army supply lead for herO. He's got the Warp Prism. Do we have it? Medevacs are only, yeah, we have 2 medevacs on the field, 2 more on the way, +1 halfway done. And now herO, the world is his oyster. He can go take that 3rd base. He's got Colossus on the way. There is no answer for the Colossus. There's no answer for the invaders from Mars. Or I guess not really. Actually, so Colossus have, or Protoss has Colossus, right, which is this tripod warwalker. The aliens, the Martians in War of the Worlds, they had these tripod warwalkers, and you know, they had some kind of fleshy something behind them. Are Protoss players just are Protoss, is the Protoss race just like advanced Martians? Is that how that is? Have we figured it out? Is that where the Protoss came from? But anyway, here comes Kira on the map. There is a Colossus, and herO's not quite there with the Colossus just yet, so he does have to back up, loses a sentry and a stalker for it. But I mean, let's be real here. I don't know how Kira finds the value he wants. It's a lot of stalkers, lots of blinks. Colossus on the high ground. Second one's on the way. Stalkers, yeah, blink backward. There we go. So Widowmines fall, and I don't see a reasonable world where this break happens. I mean, if you're a herO fan, you're maybe hopeful. Is Widowmine is okay? There we go. Widowmine is gonna get out blinked. If you're a Cure fan, you're hopeful, but I don't see how Cure breaks this. And now it's very scary because we have 2 Colossus on the map. 3rd one about halfway done, +1 just about done, and herO has the disease of aggression. Nice retarget there from Cure. Is yeah, still not going to find value. herO has this aggressive disease where he will move forward time and time again, even to his own detriment, but oftentimes it works out pretty well. Stalkers blink back, all the Widowmines are going to fall, but this is a concave and a half for Cure here. It's still scary to attack into. Cure's going to try to make it happen. It's the stalkers that got to run away. It's 1-1 or +1 versus +1. Colossus are starting to fall, and we talked about the illness. We talked about the disease. The Warp Prism is going to go down, and that's a dead Colossus. herO has overstepped himself in the extreme. And now we talked about how I didn't see there was a world where Cure was going to break hero's 3rd. Now it's a question of whether herO can stay alive in this game. He has 1 Colossus, 4 Stalkers, and 3 Zealots. There is not a lot here. The scan catches the Colossus as well if Cure wants to stim on the high ground. But the world is truly his oyster at this moment. And the Vikings are adding more damage, so the Colossus has to keep running away. Probes are going to get pulled here. And I guess the good news, if you're a herO fan, there's not a lot of Marines, so the probes will actually fight fairly well. But the Colossus goes down, another one pops up. The Vikings are just chasing it down. There's not enough anti-air. The Colossus are born as they die. They die as they're born. And Cure sweeps herO asunder. We talked about it. Sometimes the aggression is a curse. In the upper left, in the red, he's up 1 game in this series because his opponent just overcommitted like all hell. Well, it's Cure. And in the bottom right, in the blue, down 1, it's herO. So game 1, right? So game one, right? We had this game where herO was in a great spot. The pressure from herO didn't work out at all. It was 4K playing versus the 3 racks. You do the math. And herO's in a great spot. You know, herO goes for the follow-up aggression, but herO's 2 Colossus on the high ground. I mean, good luck. And then herO runs across the map. He runs into a concave of +1 stim bio. He does not have enough anti-air, or he does not have enough anti-anything. His army falls apart. He runs across the map. Colossus are dying as they're born, as they're made, I guess. Colossus aren't really born. And everything falls apart. The center cannot hold. We turn and turn in a widening gyre. In fact, the Falcon may not even be able to hear the Falconer, and other witty things from that poem. Regardless, that was not a game that herO should have won. That was a game that herO was in a fantastic position to win. And even still, herO made it happen. And this is actually the second time that this has happened on, this is even the second time that this has happened in herO's run in this very same EPT Cup. Trigger did the same thing to him in game one of their semis, where it was looking good. Trigger actually did even more damage. He killed the third base in like 22 SCVs of herO, and then he ran up a ramp into a Terran concave, lost all his Colossus, lost all his tech, and died. And I don't know what it is about herO that makes this happen, but I mean, I'm starting to see a pattern. Oh. The probe. herO just has an inefficient... herO's just not, I guess, just not playing well today. He has that inefficient probe that is just sitting there that never spawned, and likely because you're not really looking at your main base all that much for something like this. That's going to sit there and not mining for quite a while. That's 50 minerals a minute down the drain. Or what is it? No, it's more than that. It's like 200 minerals a minute. I can't remember the numbers. Regardless, that's a lot of money down the drain that herO will not be mining. So even as he is up 4 workers, functionally he's actually up less than that. And if herO goes for the aggression that it looks like he's going for, you know, double tech labs on the factory and the starport, second barracks on the way, this is going to be spicy. I mean, you need everything. Every build that a Protoss player plays, every build that a pro player plays in general, maybe not Dark. Dark is his own thing. His builds are sub-optimized. But in general, at least some of his builds are, in general, every single build that a pro player plays is optimized to all hell. Everything is there for a reason. And herO not mining with that probe is not part of the optimization process. So for now, second barracks is on the way. I thought this might be 6-minute stim because it's 2 racks, not 3, but no. We got the tank on the way. We got Raven on the way, eBay on the way. herO's just getting himself into a pretty nice position, and he's only down 2 workers. So herO's like started to realize what the problem is. He's got a second bunker on the way, just making sure he does not die. It's just 4-gate blink once again coming in from herO. And I mean, there are 2 bunkers at the natural. There are plentiful tanks in the main base. How is herO SimCity? It's starting to get there. It's not quite there just yet, but might as well be. And Reaper and Hellion into the natural. 3 probes are going to go down. Maybe even more. No, just 3. Reaper doesn't target quite things properly. And a Widowmine, well, it's interested in burrowing up once again. So tanks in the main base. Adept. Oh, 2 worker kills for, what was it, 2 adepts? An adept and a stalker, maybe. That's something. But okay, herO is doing something a little bit different here. He's got 4 adepts in the Warp Prism, and I think he's just going to try to bomb them on top of the tank as the stalkers blink in as well. But, oh, well, the stalkers blink on in, and immediately the tank shots. Auto turret is going to get dropped. There are 2 tanks here, and I do not know. 1 tank will fall, but a second tank's already ready, and this just does not feel cost effective. Yeah, the tanks went down, but stim is closer to being done than not done. Only 2 SCVs fall, and that was, I mean, that was a couple of adepts. That was a couple stalkers here. And that was a lot of damage on those stalkers, so it's going to be hard for herO to re-enter once again. But now the stalkers, they find their way into the natural, and that's going to be a dead supply depot. It's not enough to supply block Cure just yet, and Stim is done in 6 seconds. This is the timing that Cure's looking for. This is the timing that Cure is looking for. But can he take advantage? So he scans the natural, sees how many workers are there. But there's this interesting timing now. And herO's doing everything he can to prevent it. Stalkers and Zealots in the Warp Prism actually really fishing for some friendly fire. Geez, words are hard, but he's not going to get much. But anyway, the timing that Cure might look to hit if he can go for it, and it looks like he's just not willing to, is this timing where he has Stim and his opponent does not have charge. When the Stalkers are just not all that strong and you're able to crush right on through, but charge will be done in about 10 seconds. But now herO's got to run away from this. This is a lot of charge lots. Charge is now done. Auto turret gets dropped. The tank is not yet sieged. Got to run back into the bunker here, Cure. Cure, bunker, thank you. And the tank on the high ground is going to be able to siege up pretty well. SCVs are going to get pulled as herO's going for the all-in break. I don't know that this is just not going to work. The bunker's there. It was never salvaged, and that is 2 dead immortals. The Zealots have all gone down. Scan gets dropped, so there's no high ground vision anymore. And I guess the tank died? The tank went down. But at this point, Cure is again going to be very happy about this. Yeah, sure, there's a charge lots in the main base, but there are tanks here. There's bio. You can kite back through the choke, and it's not going to get anything. So herO's pretty damn all in. He's only on 55 probes. He's only on 3 gas. His evolution in this game is, I'm going to get Dark Shrine, because when behind Dark Shrine. But I don't know, Kev. And Cure has a solid understanding of what this is. He's not interested in moving out. He's got his 3rd base. He's building SCVs, but he's going to sit on 2 bases for a while. His opponent's all in as hell. Stay there defensively, but it looks like Zealot's going to they're going to deny the missile turret, and I don't know that they're going to find the Widowmine, but, well, there's a tank, and that, again, you're just fishing for friendly fire. A couple workers will fall. So I like what's happening here. And this idea of run Zealots in, they're tanky as hell, and then, well, you run back, you get some friendly fire. The tanks won't kill them all that quickly, but that's a great shot on the Widowmine. And now this Warp Prism does not have nearly as much potential. That's a dead immortal as well, and now Cure's moving out on the map. Now, we do have to be very careful, because that is a bunch of Zealots if herO looks to go for the counterattack. But I think he realizes that he is down 25 army supply. He is down upgrades. He is down tech. He needs everything back at home, so he's F2'd himself right back at home. He does have this DTs in the main base, so that's going to force a scan here. And that is, defensive DTs are perhaps the best thing, but they were warped in aggressively, not defensively. This is still a great surround coming in from herO, though. Is this the opportunity? The Widowmines are not going to get much of anything as of now. Cure kites backwards. 11 SCVs have gone down. Seems like the DTs have died, though. And now, the Cure with only 1 position to micro. This is going to be much better for him. He can start to rally across. He's got missile turrets coming in back at home. He's still on 50 workers. Now the Zealots are starting to fall. The Stalkers are starting to fall. And it's double army supply lead. So for a second, the big surround looks so good. The DT's distracting Cure to make it so he couldn't micro quite as well as he would like. But now here come Widowmines. Further and further forward. Zealots will now, well, again, you charge forward. Force fields are nice, but now these immortals are going to get picked upon. Once again, that's a dead immortal. Second one, well, no, it's going to not go down. Not just yet. Zealots interface. But it's a 50 army supply lead. And just the slow push coming in from here. It gets worse and worse for our Protoss herO. And yeah, sure, the Widowmine will fall. And Cure probably has to back up with this. Well, actually, he's got plentiful of medevacs. He just needs to stand still for a second. That army was pretty bruised. But now it's not. And here comes the next round of army. The more Marines, more Widowmines are kind of what Cure needs at this point. So he's going to kite backwards up onto the high ground. A couple Marauders will fall. But it's 1-1 bio versus +1. The Zealots continuing to kite backwards. More and more Widowmines get great trades. And now Cure takes the second fight. He stims forward once again. Immortals getting tagged here, but they're not going to go down. Not just yet, because again, herO is sacrificing his life. He's sacrificing his money to try to stay alive in this game. But resources lost. They continue to get worse and worse here. More and more Zealots will fall. Widowmine's going to burrow themselves up once again. And now the Immortals getting pretty damn low. Stalkers are going to try to outblink some of these Widowmines. Zealots find their way in once again. Widowmine shot is going to be pretty nice, but 3 of them did not get their shots off. But now here comes the Liberator. the next round of space control. Now you got tanks, you got well, actually no tanks, you got Widow Mines, and you have Liberators, and Bio beneath them. There's no way Stalkers blink on top of that. So a little bit of Kier's army gets deputized to deal with this third base Stalkers. Are they going to try to get on top of the Liberator? They will, but that leaves them so damn exposed. The Immortals as well, and now Kier micros forward. A second Liberator is going to join the fray. Zealots are doing what they can. 2 Immortals go down, and they're steady. The inevitable, the perpetual reinforcements of Kier mean that herO cannot hold on. And Kier is up 2-0 in this game, in this series. In the upper left, in the red, he's up 2-0 in this series, and honestly, he's just looking so much better. It's Kier. And the bottom right in the blue. He just looks a little off today. He's actually looked a little off the past couple of series I've cast. He's herO. I don't know what it is, but herO is just not looking as crisp recently as he did in Katowice, as he just looked immediately after Katowice. I don't quite know what it is. But he is just well, one of the hallmarks of his play, right? Just this really crisp control on oracles and blink stalkers doesn't seem to be quite there. He's leaning too far into his aggression and losing more games than normal that he should have won. Just kind of every aspect of his game looks a little sloppy. And I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe it's just, again, this is the off season. GSL. I don't know if we know when GSL qualifiers are yet. They might have been announced, but it hasn't been publicized heavily. But for now, this game is going pretty standard. You know, Barracks, Factory, we're going to see a Starport eventually. Cure, Reaper Expand, you know, like nothing super interesting, but this is a very quick Twilight coming out of herO here, even before his natural is done. And I guess going back to that herO being shaky, maybe a little bit more, he's been talking pretty much since he won his GSL last year that he's not super confident in his PvT. And that's fair. You know, like if you're not confident in a matchup, it's going to look bad. But I think in general, I've cast him playing PvZs recently, PvTs, not PvPs, but yeah, the non-mirrors. And he's just been making unexpected mistakes. And I think in general, his issues with PvT have not been mechanical. They've been kind of comprehensive, understanding about how he wants to play the game. And that's fair. I mean, Protoss players, it seems like they are really struggling against Terran aggression. We saw that, I think at one point, it was a 30% PvT win rate in Katowice, and it really was because, well, tanks are better against Colossus. All right, Colossus openings are not as good because shield batteries are not as good. Ravens now can always fit into the Terran build, and you can get a tank, so it's no longer this dichotomy of, do I open Raven and have aggressive options, or do I open tank and be safe? Now it's both. And then there's a third change that I'm forgetting at the moment. But regardless, there are a couple changes that really made life difficult for the Protoss in this like 7 to 10 minute time period. And I've kind of been vocal about this a little bit, where I think Protoss needs help specifically, I think TVP is very imba from about 6 to 10 minutes. After that, it's kind of fine if you can get out of it evenly, but because that mid game is just so painful, that or that early mid game that is just so hard to deal with, that, well, 30% win rate in Katowice at one point. I don't know I forget what it actually ended up being, but for a while it was pretty bad. But Cure, well, he's opening with a Widow Mine drop in this game number 3. And again, a reminder, he has 3 games that he can use. He only has to win one of the following 3. So he's going to boost in here. Stalkers are already in position, so instead he's just going to try to find a position behind the mineral line, force the Stalkers to stay at home, and herO's not pulling forward. 4 probes go down, despite herO seeing that Warp Prism all the way and having Stalkers there and just looking at it. I guess he thought the Stalkers would be enough to ward things away, so he put his camera elsewhere. But 4 probes go down for a single Widowmine. That is already far more than you expect to get. And yeah, it is 2-gate blink, so it's not going to be quite as heavy aggression coming in from herO as we might normally see. Instead, it's very quick Robo, quick Immortals, and very quick charge. So if we do see here Cure go for this 3-1-1 heavy 730 type of timing, well, then that's not going to be all that great for them. Oh, well, that's a dead adept. Extreme prejudice is that how that adept goes down. Stalkers, oh, he messes up. Only 3 go on the high ground. You want 4 one-shot Marines, 4 one-shot SCVs, but only 3. They don't really do all that much. So theoretically, if Cure tries to go for that 730 timing, he is going to be in a bad spot. He's not going to be super happy. Because the charge lots are just going to, charge lot Immortal are just going to swarm him. But if Cure identifies what's happening, you sit at home, you plop a 3rd base down at around 630, and you let the Protoss attack into you. It's Crestfon. I mean, it's a massive map. And it's a pretty choked out natural. Protoss is not going to break this. So really the game at this point is all on as a Stalker falls to a bunker. Again, herO just looking a little sloppy. But this game right now is all predicated on Cure figuring out what his opponent is doing. And it seems like, okay, there was an attempted Widowmine drop that we didn't see. That the Widowmine went down and the Stalker went down, or and the Medevac went down, and it got 1 more probe. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, Cure, he's dropping that 633rd. You know, this does not signals some aggression, right? Because he opened 3-1-1. He's got Stim, Combat Shield, +1, all done at the same time. But it does not signal the heavy aggression that was meta for a good portion of last year. And if anything, now, the downside, we talked about how this map is big, and like, good luck Protoss breaking this. The downside is as he moves out on the map here, the downside of this is that if you get across the map and you're the Terran, you have such a distance that you have to run away to be able to find your way back home, and the Zealots are just going to continue to swarm and swarm and swarm, and that's a very easy way to lose a game. Plus, there are some really nice positions, like in the middle of the map, if herO can set this up, where you can attack from 3 angles and just kettle the Terran in. But if Cure does not decide to do that, and I think actually this drop is a mistake. Not because it is not going to get damage. Okay, actually the missile turret is herO saving grace, because the drop, Zealous popping out of that Warp Prism at 7 minutes and 30 seconds in and showing charge would have told Cure what was happening, and he would have known to stay home. But because that drop did not go in and Cure does not see charge lots in his main base, now he is running across the map. And yeah, he's up about 10 army supply, 8 army supply, something like that. That is not enough to beat this army. This army is designed from herO to deal with what Cure has. And now, there we go. Anti-armor missile goes down. Actually, that's full center mass. That can make a pretty big damn difference, as the Stalker or the tanks are going to siege up. 1 Immortal getting pretty low. In fact, it's just going to get targeted down. Great force fields, but the Bio's already running away from it, so it's not going to get that much damage. And Cure feeling, all of a sudden, he's up 30 army supply. And by the way, this Raven has a couple more spells available to it, so these Zealots are not as tanky as they would like to be. Meanwhile, big Warpins coming in from the other side, but herO, he realizes again that he's not going to get damage done. He needs to defend on the other side. The Bio stims forward. That's a great set of force fields, and it does shred some of these Marines. Meanwhile, Zealots on the backside here, but the force fields are working against herO now. He can't get on top of the army. The tanks will fall eventually, but that is so many dead Zealots, and Cure continues to stim forward. More Zealots are going to fall. More sentries are going to fall. That's arguably even more important, and Cure just continues to kite backwards on the +1. Widowmines are going to burrow on up here. Disruptor Shot is going to have to find something, but it gets absolutely nothing. And here comes Cure. Reinforcements now streaming across the map. Immortal's getting pretty low. Disruptors are going to fall. Maybe. That's a nice Disruptor Shot. Stalkers blink forward. Maybe Cure. This is maybe herO's opportunity, but, well, the Raven's going to fall. And yeah, herO's going to be able to hold on to this, I think. Widowmine burrows up on top of the army. That's Immortals. That's heavy damage on the Immortals. Heavy damage on the Disruptors. And now, maybe Cure stims forward. Is he going to get that? No. He's got to back up. But far from this awkward position where Cure just loses everything, now he's equal on workers. He traded it pretty efficiently. And he's got 1-1. He's up on upgrade here. The one thing he's lacking, well, he's actually lacking 2 things. three things. Second armory, or second eBay, armory, and Vikings. And this is a Colossus double robo transition. So from that perspective, maybe it's a little bit awkward coming in. As the Widowmine tries to burrow under the Warp Prism, will be unsuccessful. But now Cure realizes that he does have to back up. He has to sit here. He's not able to, his aggression or his main army aggression is not going to be able to get what he wants. Not for the time being. He can drop, sure, and Aggressivon is a massive map. But this army of herO at this point has got 2 Colossus, it's got a Disruptor, it's got Immortals. It's pretty scary. At least until Vikings pop out and Ghosts pop out and things like that. So Cure's going to posture around what is perhaps the most... Oh, nice Unburrow there on the Widowmine. What is perhaps the most broken position a Terran can take. Around this corner, Zealots can't engage into it super well. Nothing really can. And once you add Liberators and Vikings, it's just this disgusting high ground position that makes it very hard for whomever... Doesn't matter. Terran or Protoss or Zerg, whoever's taking that 4th base, life becomes very difficult indeed. Is now Cure on the bottom side. Is he looking for a big drop? That's a really weird army positioning as Widowmine. Ooh, center mass on the Widowmine. But it seems like Cure is just trying to clear vision out. Okay. So he's going to clear vision out. His 4th base is halfway done. 3 Ghosts on the way at a time. And he's starting to get up to that Viking count. Now, of course, with 4 Colossus on the field, we want to see him to go up to like 12 Vikings. That's the magic number there. You generally want 3 per Colossus. That might have changed with the... what's it called? The attack... I want to say base attack time, but that's not what it is. It's not attack delay, but that's effectively what it is. The time period between when you make an attack and when the unit is responsive again. Forgetting the term. Regardless, that has been buffed by a 3rd on Vikings in the air, so they're able to kite better. Maybe that changes the magic number on Vikings. I'm not totally sure. But regardless, we are looking at 4 Vikings, going up to 6 pretty soon. Ghosts are just about done. Cure is maxed out. He's got 2-2. And it feels like we may be looking for this 2-2 timing where he's going to have... How many Ghosts? Like 7 Ghosts, maybe. A bunch of Vikings. And nice Widowmine there. Again, these Widowmines are just... They're not killing anything just yet, but they're making heavy damage. And Cure... Oh, okay. He's been looking for this for quite a while now. Do drop into the main base. And herO is just not in position whatsoever. His entire army is at the front. And notice what Cure's doing. He's immediately posturing in the middle of the map. As this fight happens at the front, I would not be surprised to see him try to dive on the 4th base immediately. But for right now, this drop, it seems like it's going to get dealt with. But how much... Well, okay, so 7 probes have gone down. Stalkers are going to try to target the medevacs, but they do not get the full one. And it actually didn't get all that much done. That was a bit of a mistake. As Stalkers are going to kill a shield battery. That's I don't know that was the play, but that did not find the value that Cure was looking for. And now herO feels kind of unlocked to move out on the map, but I think... Oh, the drop comes back and gets a Colossus? Gets a Colossus. No, just got Stalkers. Okay. But yeah, you got to run away from this one. Widowmine or Medevacs will fall. 1 goes down, but again, it's the empty one. And part of this is Cure does want to replace some of the supply. He wanted more Vikings. He's going to go up to 10 now. That's a lot safer against 4 Colossus. And that Widowmine continues to find value. I think that's the 3rd time it's fired. Down on low ground. So Warp Prism will go down here to start massive EMPs, blanket all the Zealots. And this is just not a fight that herO can take. So Cure moves forward, establishes position on the center of the map. EMPs on the army once again. And this is kind of one of those situations where the Viking control from Cure looks like it's all part of the main army. Ideally, you almost want your Vikings to be on a second hotkey or you just want to control click them and have them starting to shell away at the Colossus when you have these high grounds to play around with. But even still, this is a tricky position for herO to attack. And 2 EMPs again blanket the army. You trade for a damage point. That's what it is. You trade for a Widowmine. But now it's scary to move up high ground. That being said, scans are a powerful thing. That's going to be a potentially dead Disruptor. Vikings getting some damage on the Colossus. The Stalkers, they're going to blink forward here. It's 2-1 versus 2-2. 3-3 halfway done. And now herO, he's eating some big Widowmine shots, but the bio is pretty heavily overstimmed. Colossus are going to start to go down. Disruptors are going to reap their pound of flesh, but does it even matter here? Colossus is still staying alive. SCVs are going to have to get pulled, and it looks like it is. Meanwhile, on the other side, the drop is doing tremendous damage, but the drop does not matter if this army cannot get dealt with. Somehow, Cure is up an army supply. I don't know where it is. I guess it's in the Vikings. I guess it's in the Medivacs. I guess it's in the drop on the other side, because that is a lot of damage here. Pylons are going down. Tech is going down. And actually, we're kind of in a position where this game might equalize. This is 2-2 Bio versus 2-1 Stalkers. There is no way you're getting up that ramp. Archon goes down. And this seemed horrible for Cure, and it might still be. He's only got 36 workers. But if he cleans up all of this, he did economic damage on the other side. He's got his 3-3 very close to completion. herO was building shields. He was kind of all in on this idea, and his shields are delayed anyways. There's a world now where Cure runs across the map and kills herO. I don't know if Cure goes for it. But this is, I mean, what's our tech at right now? It's 11 Stalkers. That's it. 2 Colossus are on the way, of course. But there are still, it's only 2 Vikings. Even with +1, it's only 2 Vikings in the sky. Now, okay, there we go. 3-3 is done. +3 attack was complete. +3 armor is now done. herO's got a lot of money. He's on 5 bases to the, well, actually, I guess it's to the 4 of Cure. But again, Cure is significantly lacking in SCVs. He's not actually, he's dropped a lot of mules, so he's mining pretty healthily. But he's going to start to mine out of that 3rd base. So it's now all down to this army, really. And he's going to find a bunch of the Stalkers. But is he going to be able to get on top? Looks like the answer is no. Zealots find their way in, but that's a defensive Widowmine. And now, well, the Reed Rally's going to try to deal with this. EMP's on the army, and well, it's a bunch of ghosts. So actually, it's a bunch of ghosts with 3 upgrades in the lead. Those Zealots do not last long enough. And that army supply lead that Cure had, it's not really there anymore. He's been spending so much. Oh, he's going to get a lot. Well, actually, there's the army supply lead back in. These Zealots are all going to get boxed into a corner. There's nowhere for them to go. And that was like 20 army supply of Zealots. That has just been knocked down. Yes, herO is warping in more and more. These Stalkers on the left side, they're going to try to get an orbital. These orbitals are so important. You need the mules here at this point. SCVs are going to get pulled to defend, and it seems like that is going to keep it alive. And now here comes Cure. There are no Stalkers in this position. They're all going to have to be recalled. Disruptors. Oh, okay. Stim Disruptor shot 1, 2, 3. They all go down. But one, oh no, that's a massive shot at the end here. Cure thought he could get them all, but he's not going to get nearly enough. It was a hope. It was a dream. And if he kept this army alive, well, maybe he had a shot. But he ate that last Disruptor shot. And that actually should do it here. I didn't think Cure was going to be able to do it, but he kind of fought his way back in. He took a good fight. At this point, he's down half the army supply. And while he has superior upgrades in the extreme, I don't think that he just doesn't have enough. He's on two Marines, 4 Ghosts, and 4 Marauders. And herO takes his first game in this series. We're going to game 4. In the upper left, in the blue. He's been looking good, but unfortunately, you know, sometimes you eat some big balls and they get all over your face and it doesn't feel very good. It's Cure. The bottom right, finally taking a game here in this series, herO. And man, 2 times now, Cure was looking like he was in a great fight. He was going to be able to hold on. And he commits on the Disruptors because he thinks he can kill it. And he gets 2 of the 3. And the last little tick of HP on the last Disruptor before it falls blows up his entire army. Because when you go to target Disruptors down like that, you clump your army up. And that means the Disruptors, if you don't get them, are even more powerful than they might have otherwise been. So it's a double whammy. You get it on both sides. But of course, Babylon is a much smaller map. It's a map that Terrans tend to enjoy for the most part. I don't even know that it's that much smaller than Dragon Scales, but it is certainly smaller. Actually, I can tell you, I have this up. What are the numbers? Babylon is 34, Dragon Scales is 35. So yeah, not that much shorter, but just enough. And my picture-in-picture PC is humming. I don't think you can hear it on my microphone, but it is just buzzing away. Because it's a laptop, and yeah, it's designed to run hot, but still. So we are seeing a bit of a build order difference coming in from herO in this fourth game. He's gone early blink charge, something like that. 3 games in a row. He won one of them, and that seems to be his calling to say, okay, well, maybe I've made Cure afraid enough that I can go into something else. So it's going to be a Stargate opener from herO in this 4th game in the series. And part of this makes sense. I mean, I don't think we're likely to see Cure go for a 3-bay or 3 racks again. Again, considering every time he's tried to go for it, it's been... actually, I think he only went for it once. But regardless, it was build order countered. And herO is very much a gateway player. More often than not. So those two things together kind of has trained Cure to assume that, yeah, okay, it's going to be somewhere on the ground. I probably shouldn't go for 3 racks. Let's go for a Widowmine drop. Something like that. Establish pressure. And, well, the Phoenix are already on the way, so this should not get much of anything done. And this is not a build order counter in that, wow, this is just going to give herO an insurmountable lead. But what it does do is make it very safe for herO. The Widowmine drop should realistically not get much of anything done. And then that means that, well, the Widowmine drop doesn't get anything, and then herO is going to be free to expand and develop his tech, and then whether this is going to be Phoenix Colossus, Phoenix Charge, we've yet to find out. Keep an eye on the production tab. But regardless of what it is, I guess it's kind of looking a little more like it's going to be Phoenix Charge, just considering it's 4 minutes and there's no gas on the natural. But regardless of what it is, I mean, herO's going to be able to get into that comfortably. Drop is not going to get anything, and, well, then Cure's going to have to find something up. But at least this natural's good, or the 3rd base is going to be delayed for a little bit. Nice job there, Cure. He dives in, gets the probe, and going to be closer to 5 minutes by the time, or at least 4:30 by the time that herO takes this 3rd base. And now, well, Reaper Hellion tries to dive in once again. They're going to get another probe. Maybe, actually. Line of sight. Oh, they do get it, but no scout. And the Widowmine drop into the main base. Boosting in. Well, the Phoenix are, yeah, they're going to float right on over, lift the Widowmines, and there we go. Medivac tries to unboost, reboost. Widowmine is, yeah, it's not going to burrow. Tricky play from Cure, and he does get 2 probes from the Reaper and the Hellion, but this is not what he was looking for when he spun up this build. I mean, double Phoenix play, not even going for Oracle, straight into Phoenix is perhaps the hardest counter to this style. Although, for those of you that have been watching Starcraft for a long time, I would like to remind you that Myungshik is a thing. And that Mario versus Myungshik game was beautiful. Adepts are going to find their way into the mineral line here, and between the damage they do and the friendly fire, well, that's going to be a couple dead SCVs. So it feels like herO is starting to feel his oats a little bit more. The first couple games have not been pretty. Even in the game he won, it wasn't great, but he just gets 7 SCVs. The Phoenix take very minimal damage. He denies the drop, and, I mean, he looks like he's going to lose 1 Phoenix. But, oh, well, yeah, these Marines are not going to be enough to kill a second one, so he continues to find value. 7 workers have gone down. Cure is trapped in his base, and I think realistically, Cure's going to be okay with being trapped in his base because this is Phoenix Charge. And you don't want to move out of the map. Cure did a great job trading. Realistically, in that game number 3, that build that herO went for was designed to swallow whole that 3-1-1 type of aggression. So Cure did a great job trading pretty evenly, knocking down some of the tech. But you especially don't want to move on the map against Phoenix Charge. Because there is no safe, there is no... what's the word I'm looking for? There is no gentle, there's no gallant retreat that you can go for, because the Phoenix and the Zealots are just going to chase everything down, even more than just pure Phoenix or pure Zealot does. So life becomes even more complicated. If your attack does not win the game, you will lose everything, and then you may not get broken. Sometimes that's not possible. It's kind of hard to break a natural on this map because of the ramp, but you're going to get stuck in your base for forever. And it really becomes dicey. So Cure wants to stay in his base. Cure does not want to move out of the map, but for now, we're only double orbital. I love not being able to, every time the orbital's in a different spot on the production tab. But for now, we're double orbital. No 3rd base on the way just yet, so as much as I'm saying, Cure, he wants to just turtle and be defensive, he's going the opposite direction. It's a 3-1-1, but this is a 7:30. I mean, this is a heavily aggressive 3rd base. And this is pretty much as aggressive as possible. And maybe it's just because he feels like he can break with all the Phoenix on the map, because there are a lot of Phoenix. The +1 is done. Charge is done. Armor's on the way. And Cure can't even move out. Cure can't, like, Cure can't establish position on the map here because the Phoenix are shirking around so much. And there's going to be an attempt at third base on location, I think. But, well, I mean, the STV gets taken down immediately. Widow Mines are going to go down. And I'm not trying to say Cure's dead. Because, I mean, we still have to see how the fight happens. But we are a minute late on the move out. Cure is... he's getting set up to fully get surrounded. No, anti-armor missile does make a difference, even it has been nerfed a little bit. High Templar need to get turned into Archons, but, well, yeah, there we go. And this flank coming in is well, actually, it's just a full frontal attack. Widow Mines are going to be pretty nice, but the tanks are going to go down. And the Phoenix, actually, they're all dead. herO tried to bomb on top of them, and I don't think there was that much friendly fire on the Widow Mines. So, in the context of this game, Cure took a pretty damn good fight. I don't know what's going to matter, as the Zealots and Archons are going to run across the map, and pretty soon it's going to be 1-1 versus +1. But at the very least, the Phoenix, the threat of them are gone. The Raven still exists. Another anti-armor missile can happen. And I like Zealous running into this army. There's no SimCity. There's nothing like that. So 4 Archons and Immortal, crap tons of Zealots. And let's see if herO can make this bust happen. He's got a Warp Prism. And he's going to warp in 8 more Zealots, because why not here? And he's actually up on army supply. Widow Mines are actually going to go really massive on these Archons. 2 are going to fall almost immediately as now Cure stims forward, but he can't go too far forward. And it seems like only one of the Archons will go down at the end of the day. So herO takes his 4th base on the understanding that while his... Oh, that's a great lock on there on the Warp Prism. And is it going to maintain range? 1, 2, 3, and it's barely going to stay alive. But now Cure's on the chase. And this army has been pretty weak, and that's a very wounded Archon is now herO. Well, he chases forward, but Cure kites backward. And this is just a good way to lose out on Zealots. So he's got to retreat back at home. And now, well, re-engage. Force fields are going to kill pretty massive here. But most of the Marines are going to get out on the backside. Zealots are going to run forward. And with the additional Warp in, because that Warp Prism's still alive, well, now Cure has to run away. This is not a happy situation for him. He's going to need more reinforcements. Widow Mines go off. Not full center mass, but Ghosts are now on the field. So Widow Mines are no longer the only way you deal with charge lots, as that's the dead sentry. Now, Cure, is he going to get the Immortal? He's not going to slow it down. Not enough Zealots are going to re-engage. EMPs need a blanket this army, and they will. And they get the Warp Prism as well, so it's a very low Warp Prism. Even if there is no Storm, it means the Warp Prism can't get anywhere close to this army, because it's going to get snapped down immediately. As now great micro moving backwards. All the wounded units, the Ghosts fighting all the way. And Cure's up 30 army supply. Cure is microing so damn well in this game, but he's not going to break his opponent. There are Colossus on the high ground. The Raven does not have the energy that it needs. I mean, Cure's going to try. EMP's on the army, and he's shelling away at this 4th base. Biostims 4 gets damage on the Warp Prism. Damage on the Colossus, excuse me. Warp Prism is so damn low. My kingdom for a Viking, but, well, the Vikings are not here yet. And Cure still establishing position on the high ground. Where are those Vikings? Not here just yet. More Stalkers will continue to fall. Cure EMPs the army, so the Guardian Shield is the only use of these sentries. There will be no force fields to keep this back. And it seems like the Vikings are... Well, actually, there's only one. Where are the Vikings in this army? Not here just yet. Okay, Doom drop into the main base. You know, everything's at the 3rd. This is going to trigger a recall, maybe. But herO feels like he's going to be a little bit late now. There is a cannon, and it's not targeting the right medevac down. So Shield Battery Overcharge gets popped before the army arrives. Target down the Colossus pretty much immediately, but no, he's not going to be able to get that. And the army is going to get 1 Colossus. The second one is not going to go down. And Cure, he gets 9 probes. He gets a Colossus. He gets a Shield Battery. Still a little bit dicey there. Scans out the 3rd base, realizes that there's not really a lot here. Dropping into the 3rd, more Stalkers are going to warp in. And, well, Warp Prism should go. He's still alive, even with the Widow Mine. There's the Warp Prism dead. And Cure has to back up. He's got to run away. At this point, it feels like his momentum is going to tap down, but 20 probes have gone down. The economy, despite being up a base on Cure, herO's economy is just not doing well. These Widow Mines in the main base, in the 4th, have just not been dealt with. They're not... herO does not seem to be aware of them until now. Yeah, Disruptor's going to knock that. And random Widow Mines all over the map. The bane of Protoss' existence. And there's a second Widow Mine. 4 more probes go down. herO is in a tough spot now. Oh, there we go. The rocks aren't going to kill the army. But it does slow down herO's aggression. It slows down his push, which then buys time for more Ghosts to pop out, for more just medevacs to pop out. Viking count's a little low. You'd like to be What are we at? We're at, yeah, Viking count is definitely low. It's 4 Colossus. Oh, one of mine's not going to get the juicy shot, but herO on the other side looks to move forward here, and well, here's going to kite backwards as well as he can. Disruptor shots are going to go out, not really finding value, and it looks like it's only a single disruptor. Looks like it's going to be a second one. That shot also fails to land, and now Cure, is he going to stim forward here? It's going to be a dead observer. Colossus taking some damage. Disruptor will fall, and the Vikings, well, they're going to knock one Colossus down fairly quickly, but Cure is just under the withering fire of the Colossus here. The lasers are doing so damn much, so the medevacs have to boost backwards, and Cure, he's not ready just yet. Disruptor's getting more Marauders, and again, the problem, lack of Vikings. Cure is dead. I don't know that he had to GG actually, but he's going to tap out, and we're going to game 5. In the upper right, in the blue, excuse me, in the red, he took the first 2 games, but is in danger now of being reverse swept. Despite playing well in the second 2, it's Cure. And the bottom left in the blue. 1 map away from the reverse sweep. Looking better and better in every game he plays thus far. It's herO. And you gotta wonder how the mental space of Cure is right now, because I think that game number 4 was, I mean, it's hard to say because there were still 2 Colossus on the field and Zealots were running in, and that's a hard army to beat. But I do feel like he at the very least probably could have held in an I'm not saying he wins there necessarily, but I feel like at the very least he could have held in an equal game. Or held and brought it back to an equal game, at which point, well, it's anyone's game, right? If it's even. But regardless, that is not what happened. And now we are treated with the result of a game number 5. It's on Royal Blood. herO, by the way, is for the first time in 3 times I've cast him on Royal Blood. He has not taken both golds. I'm a little disappointed, but seems like he wants to give Cure a little bit more respect than that. And also, it's game 5. You know, you don't throw the weird build out in game 5 against someone who arguably has better TVP than you have PVT. Or is arguably better in the matchup than you are. Reaper's doing good damage on that Sentry. And Cure, though, he's got to run away, waiting for the regen. And herO tries to chase it down, but you want to talk about things, Sentry openers, or you want to talk about a result of the patch. Sentry openers are certainly one of them. Getting that Sentry super early means you have force fields if you need to, but also it means you have a very early scout of whether the Terran is going 3 racks, 1-1-1, just what variant they're going for. And that is massive for the Protoss. You usually, like, okay, you get an adept in the natural. You're not getting that in the main. So previously, before this patch, it really did feel like the Protoss player would have to go and wait for the robo to be done and for an observer to pop out before they could have a really solid scout, or maybe Warp Prism Blink or something, but to get a really solid scout of what the Terran was up to. So in this game, or, you know, you open Stargate. In this game, herO's going to see that this is 1-1-1. It's not a 3 racks. Sees the timing of the starport, which is, you know, again, pretty standard. But now he has a good idea of what's happening. He knows that likely this is going to be Widowmine drop, something like that. Hellion Reaper tried to dive into the main base. Stalker's going to kill the Hellion, but the Reaper gets a full scout. Oh, well, you know, is he? No, okay, he's going to be able to find its way around. KDA charges to deny a little bit of mining, and the Reaper will fall. The little probe pull was cute, but it was not able to body block just enough. So full scout of the main base, full scout of the natural. Cure is aware of what his opponent is going for, aka the lack of a Twilight. This 3 gate, right? Yeah, this 3 gates robo idea. You get a Warp Prism, you run across the map with some early units, and then you fill in your tech behind it. I was talking about this actually, I want to say an earlier game in the series where herO just went 4 gate instead, 4 gate blink instead, but herO's been messing around with this idea, right? Where you get the early Warp Prism, you get a couple Stalkers. Oh, good, well positioned there, herO. He's gonna get half damage or more on the Widow, wow, the medevac. And now there's no way this drop finds its way in. Not really. You put a couple Stalkers in the corners, and maybe eventually once herO's active on the map. But for now, I mean, this Widowmine drop is going to find no value. And the warp prism's ready. So you warp in a couple more. Okay, in this case, it's going to be some adepts. You want 3 of them, of course, if you want to one-shot SCVs. But regardless, you warp in a couple adepts. You bring in with some stalkers. There's pressure on the map. You get a full scout of the main base again. And behind this, there will be blink. And it's still going to be timed out. Or maybe even charge, actually. Yeah, charge is going to be because of the Twilight Slate, you get charge. And from that perspective, you're still going to be ready for the Terran push. Stalkers and adepts are going to show up here in the natural. Do we have a tank? We do have one, but for now, one SCV will go down. Stalkers and adepts will find their way into the mineral line. And again, this is one-shot potential. That's kind of the goal with it. Whatever hodgepodge bits of units you get, you want to be able to one-shot. SCVs, you want to be able to one-shot Marines. So for now, great micro from herO. He gets 4 SCVs, maybe 4 SCVs. He gets a couple Marines. He loses an adept, but I mean, again, that's worth doing. It's a scout. It's harassment. A stalker takes heavy damage from the tank. But it's a scout. It's harassment. You know exactly what your opponent is doing. You get some damage. And now herO feels comfortable enough to get Storm on the way as well. So it's Charge Loud Immortal Storm. And where are we on? Yeah, 3-1-1. Quicker third base, or quicker third barracks before the third base. So perhaps a bit more aggressive from Cure than what he went for earlier on in the series. And if that's the case, I mean, we're looking at a stims done right around the 7-minute mark. You hit around 7:30. Storm will be done by then. We're going to have 4 High Templar in this army. Wait, did the scan? Scan saw. Oh, that's massive. Scan saw the High Templar. And there is no reason well, maybe. Okay, even still. Feedback gets the Widowmine drop. It didn't get anything. But there is no reason to have High Templar this early on unless you're going for a Storm. Or unless you're going for Storm something. So there is that. Cure does have that bit of information, but Storm drops on the way into the natural. SCVs are going to have to get pulled here. But maybe he's going to find more. Into the main base, the Warp Prism goes. Is the pull going to be good enough? Well, there are Vikings here right now. Oh, this is dicey. He's going to lose two High Templar. Storms go down. Oh, he just feedbacks. Well, there's the reason we don't go Storm drops. There is a reason that Storm drops are not nearly as popular as they once were. And I would like to direct your eyes to what just happened. That was 2 High Templar and a Warp Prism going down before Cure's pressure happens. And now we're looking at still four Storms technically on the map. That was expensive as hell. And well, actually Cure, I'm sorry, he took his third base a little bit quicker than I saw. So yeah, this timing we were talking about, yeah, he's just going to take the third base after all. And now herO's the one that wants to get aggressive on the map. A couple Marines and Marauders awkwardly on the left side, or on the right side. Left side, there's a double drop. That means there's like nothing at home for Cure. So this pressure, I mean, they're tanks, and they're actually tanks. The Widowmines are in a really nice position here, but the Widowmines don't really get the best shots. And Stalkers, I imagine, well, actually, I'm sorry, they don't have blink. Do they have high ground vision? Yeah, they do. There we go. Sentries do a great job of that one, and the tanks are going to go down. Zealots find their way into the mineral line. High Templars defensively storm, but Cure has a great split. So now, I mean, we're solidly in a base trade. Shield battery overcharge doing what it can, but into the natural, there's another drop here. So herO's got to find his way up into the main, but there are Widowmines here. More and more are going to warp in, and life is just, it's hard. There is no blink, right? It's a difficult situation. It's a difficult proposition to find your way into the main base like that Cure has. Meanwhile, of course, Cure is in the main base. 4 High Templar warped in. They're trying to buy time for energy for Storm. Meanwhile, every single worker that herO has is going to go down. It seems like on the flip side, Cure's going to lose every single worker that he has. And Cure, okay, recall onto the third base. That's where the High Templar are going to make their stand. And they're pretty quick. They're pretty close to Storm, I think. Yeah, they got 71, 72. So they're going to have Storm right as this happens. Meanwhile, Zealots are on the other side. So Cure's in the main base. He has ripped out the innards of herO, but he's down double the army supply. So Cure lifts everything. But the Storms here, how good are they going to be? Well, they're not even going to go off just yet because, well, okay, that's fairly good. But there's personal healings on this part of the army. So High Templar, only 2 Storms go down on the high ground. Is this High Templar? Yes, it is. More Storm drops on the way. But I don't know that there's the energy just yet. Oh, that's massive. That is an absolutely massive one. And this paltry army from herO should be enough to do it. So herO looked not great. Let's be real. The first couple games, he looked dicey as hell. But Cure leaves the game too early in game number 4, and it bites him in the rear in game number 5. herO makes the reverse sweep happen. Oh, man, what a series. That was well played by herO. That was fun. But, folks, if you got to the end of this video, that means hopefully you liked it, which means you should subscribe to my YouTube channel because I upload videos 6 days a week. Cyril, ladder VODs on Tuesdays, Rainer on Thursdays. Eventually, when I get these replays from Maru, I keep promising it. On Sundays, other things that happen. And check out my Twitch. I stream 4 days a week, 8 p.m. Eastern for the most part. Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. But for that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.